Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Cyber Skull Media's Fail or Fire, the series where we show you guys what we think is a fail fire or just plain mid. I am your surviving literally purely out of spite because I'm a little under the weather today, Thundarius, and I'm joined by my not under the weather co-hosts.
Last couple of days I've been trying to FSU the Shades.
And I am healthy as a horse. I'm Dylan.
And so it's going to be interesting today, seeing how we get through it. If you can't handle how I sound, I apologize for that. We're going to try to read the lyrics. We'll see how we do today, or if that gets cut. I know people wanted me to read them, but we'll see how this goes. We know he just did the illest of our time drop, and you know we've covered the original back in December. We're going to cover that next week. Then we know Vincent's Tales dropping, and he's got tons of stuff coming in the next coming weeks. We'll get to it, folks. We'll get to it. It'll probably be a week late every week. Go watch everybody else and then come back for our premiere the following week. I think that works out great, doesn't it, boys?
Oh,
Unless Ren starts dropping on Wednesdays.
Even that's tough, but we could pull it off. So that means Uninvited's getting pushed. I'm sorry. But Penitence got super chatted for a while back. I did Patience instead because I'm special. We're doing Penitence today because of that. It already got pushed back once too because of Fire in the Booth. So here you go, Pete. Here's Penitence. You're welcome, buddy. And it's going to be a good one today. So welcome in the Council of Steves and the rest of the Cyber Skull Mafia. We're not going to hold you guys up any longer. Our 5-year anniversary stream's coming up on Sunday. Hope to see you guys there. So yeah, we'll talk to you guys shortly, and we want to say congrats on 2 million subs, Rin. We found out about that after we recorded. You hit that last week. Maybe we'll hit 5K soon. We'll see. We do know there is a female vocalist on this by the name of Molly McKenna. Don't know anything about her, so if y'all want to fill us in the chat, that would be wonderful. We're also not doing any cutaways today because of the somber nature of today's song. So for those who aren't a fan of those, you're welcome. For those who are always expecting one, here's your Mighty Boosh cutaway for the week. You boys ready to just go ahead and get on into this?
Let's take it on.
All right, this is Ren, Penitence.
Lately, I think I was over time in my chest, beating slower like the clouds, the color of them fading out, fading out. Oh, the heavy heart I carried went over your head and over
I'm sorry I had to blue ball you already, but we got some introduction here to the song and to Molly McKenna. What do you guys think of her voice?
not bad.
Super talented. Not my style per se. It's real slow. A couple other artists are like popping in my head and I can't quite put my finger on the name. That like vocal tone and style. It works for her. I mean, she's very good at it. Not in my wheelhouse for sure though.
Yeah, I mean, I did just pick up the book, so we'll see.
I thought it was pretty good. Kind of that real soft voice, but she's definitely got an attractive voice. So now I should probably tell you guys what she said, right? And since people said last episode that I needed to get an inhaler, I got one. So here we go. See how this goes.
Come on, Wheezy.
Lately I think I was over, time in my chest beating slower, like the clouds, see color of them fading out, fading out. Oh, the heavy heart I carried went over your head and over mine. Now, as we know, this is going to be a much more serious song today. We've been having a lot of fun lately. For weeks we've been having fun and haven't really covered anything super serious, so it's time to bring it in today because the next few weeks are going to be crazy. So that's what we got today. We're not going to be our normal goofball selves, but we'll see what happens. Shade still might take his top off.
Don't ask me, I just work here.
Listen, if you watch our videos, you just see them in a Speedo in our metal video this week, but like 60 people watched it. So You might have to go back and find that if you're into shades.
Carried went over your head and over mine.
I counted the days she left like a prisoner, etching markings on my skin with an old knife, scratching. You see, I wanted the physical to match the psychological, and yet no matter how hard I dug, I still could not match that pain. I longed for reasons, I sung with demons, I sat in a dark, dusty room, barely moving, breathing. I chewed through my own umbilical cord attached to her navel. I wanted to be separate. Oh, I think my mind is leaking. Solitude is so depleting.
This is a very not fun song, but it's beautiful.
Not anything that like I normally would gravitate towards. It's lyrically, it's pretty heavy. It's well written, almost more like spoken word up to this point from Ren. Yeah, it's definitely not something that I'm familiar with.
It's definitely very odd for me. Not my normal.
Now, I know it's not something that we all typically listen to, but appreciating it for the music and what it is and the beauty of it, like I'm very appreciative for what's happening right now, and I can recognize how beautiful it is for what it's doing and what it's saying. And speaking of what it's saying, I guess we should give this a try.
Regret.
I counted the days she left like a prisoner, etching markings on my skin with an old knife, scratching.
Forget.
You see, I wanted the physical to match the psychological, and yet no matter how hard I dug, I still could not match that pain.
Regret.
I longed for reasons, I sung with demons, I sat in a dark, dusty room, barely moving, breathing.
Forget.
I chewed through my own umbilical cord, attached to her navel. I wanted to be separate. Oh, I think my mind is leaking. Oh, solitude is so depleting. Like, that is some serious imagery right there.
It's talented. I mean, this is well written. The performance is solid. It's just I really got to get a hold of this whole thing. It's just it's so far out of my wheelhouse that I'm trying to process.
Yeah, like he's got me trying to jam out all the fucking time. Then he hits me with this.
Well, maybe when we're done, we'll play it through all the way and just sit and listen and see if anything changes when we're not stopping.
Fair enough.
I think the Renegades will appreciate that too. You know, you have those relationships where they don't maybe end well, but there's a lot of longing there. Like, I've definitely written songs, more than one, because of breakups with women. So it definitely lends itself to great songwriting and very poetic songwriting.
Oh, I think my mind is leaking. Solitude is so depleting.
I did it to myself. I know that you are faithful. I did it for my health. How come I'm still unstable? I'm falling far from hell. A suicidal angel who's lost my wings and fell. Falling so ungraceful, vanished into hell.
I wish that I could.
And before Rin hops in here with what looks like a very long verse to close this out, we got some more Molly going. I did it to myself. I know that you were faithful. I did it for my health. How come I'm still unstable? And fallen far from help, a suicidal angel, exhaust my wings and fell, falling so ungraceful, banished into hell. Now this, like I said, I know the boys aren't really vibing with it. I know it's something you got to have a heavy relationship or relate to really dig this song. I could see how certain people might vibe with this a lot more than others. It's definitely not something that I'm going to be like putting on out of choice so far. It's definitely a beautiful song. I'm going to have a hard time rating this one, I think.
I'm trying to like filter and like be really open-minded and just process what's going on. The pacing of it and the tone is just so somber and just so chill. Like I'm having a hard time getting into it. So there's some more left. There's time. It could completely flip us on its head.
It is just straight up poetry, dude. Like, it feels like even more poetic than normal with how it's written. It is written in a very short form poetic verse styling, at least so far.
But I think that's how he's performing it as well. It's very like open mic night. He's going out there and he's got this notebook and he's just going to go out there and he's not truly just spoken word, but yeah, it's given me a different feel than especially the last couple weeks with how like head bobbing and fun, you know, all of February with the Love Music series. It was fun, comical. Fire in the Booth was obviously pretty high level, high energy. So all that plays into how this is like soaking in right now.
So normally if we were goofing off and having fun, I would make a slam poetry joke and write a slam poem about Uncle Ray right now, but that's not what we're here for today. So maybe in a future episode. But yeah, I don't know. It's a very somber. It feels weird to put Into a Fail or Fire, and I haven't felt that way about anything we've covered in the 100, almost 200 episodes that we've done. I feel like this is something that needs to be an outlier. I guess we'll see where it goes from here.
As lost my wings and fell, full and so ungraceful, vanished into hell.
I wish that I could stop crying. They say that the body is 70% water. I feel like I must have reduced mine by a considerable fraction. Newton's third theory states that for every action there must be an equal and opposite counter-reaction. And so I retrace my steps and try to find reasons in the arms of my demons, cause I can't find healing if I can't find meaning. A conundrum, leaning on my dom nom, feelings try the news high, beaming when I hung from ceilings when I run from demons that are living in my head and escape. Fate and disapparate, evaporate, evacuate and inactivate fate. But it cut the brakes, now I'm driving my universe into a lake and away. Weight of the world, don't wait, we make mistakes when it's all a state. For goodness sake, a double take, but I don't want to eat that cake. I ruminate inside meaning to illuminate a dark mind. I communicate without speaking, and I've seen so much I went blind. Why I live in a lie with the lion inside, living a lie with the lion inside of my mind. It's hungry for my sanity, I live in a lie with the lion inside, living a lie with the lion inside of my mind. It's hungry and I don't know why. Pressure drop, deep breath, time stops, a broken, etc. ... Pressure drop, pressure drop, pressure drop. I feel it consuming, I can't stop. The lines join the dots and I'm tying knots. Then divide and multiply, square the root of pi, beat the puzzle. I try to keep my mind focused on the line. Hopscotch and pop rocks, I take shots of teardrops. When I drop a pill pop, I find peace and time stops.
Well, it definitely completely changed gears there.
That song totally did a 360. I mean 180.
I wouldn't say a hard turn. It took a turn for sure. It didn't veer off too far, but yeah, it picked up a little bit there.
So there is a lot here for me to read through. I wish that I could stop crying. They say that the body is 70% water. I feel like I must have reduced mine by a considerable fraction. Newton's third theory states that for every action, there must be an equal and opposite counter-reaction. Didn't know we were going to get science class today, Dylan.
No kidding.
It's Neil deGrasse Tyson.
And so I retraced my steps and tried to find reasons in the arms of my demons. 'Cause I can't find healing if I can't find meaning. A conundrum leaning on my dumb numb feelings. Have a noose high beaming when I hung from ceilings. When I run from demons that are living in my head and escape. Fate and disapparate. Evaporate, evacuate, and then activate. I can relate a lot with running from my demons that are living in my head trying to escape. That happens all too often. I deal with that way too much. The channel helps. The channel helps a ton. Music therapy when I'm playing it helps a ton. I mean, there's a lot of things here I can I can relate with.
Music and gardening are my go-tos.
Just music for me.
Oh, yeah, what do you garden, Shades?
Lettuce.
The electric variety, maybe?
No, he did have a garden full of jazz cabbage.
We're trying to be serious, folks. We're trying. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's just so not us. Like it takes us out of character.
They come here for levity, right? So
Yeah.
they know that we can't get through a whole one without a few jokes slipping in and out. Fate, but it cut the brakes. Now I'm driving my universe into a lake, and the weight of the world don't wait. We make mistakes when it's all at stake. For goodness sakes, a double take, but I don't want to eat that cake. I mean, we're making mistakes, but as long as you learn from them, right? That's all that matters.
And usually, hopefully you learn from them.
You live and learn. People say
Yeah.
that.
And what's that from, Dylan? For goodness sake, let's eat some cake.
We don't want that cake, he says.
No, but what's that from?
I don't know.
It's a movie.
Layer Cake starring Daniel Craig.
No, that's not it, but that's a good movie. Oh, that's Al Sharpton from Mr. Deeds.
Oh, okay. Very
Yeah.
sneaky, sir. Also from Mr. Deeds.
I ruminate inside meaning to illuminate a dark mind. I communicate without speaking, and I've seen so much I went blind-eyed. Why? I'm living a lie with the lion inside.
Did it to myself.
Living a lie with the lion inside.
I know.
And my mind, it is hungry. It's hungry for my sanity. I living a lie with the lion inside.
I did it to myself.
Living a lie with the lion inside.
I know.
And my mind, it is hungry, and I don't know why. I always like some illumination in my dark mind when it gets there. And I've got a playlist of various things, mostly from King ISO, that I put on when I need that I have now started to add Rin to. And, these things are necessary sometimes. And nothing like living a lie with a lion on the inside. Yeah, y'all know Thundy got a lion on the inside. On the outside, too. And divide and multiply, square the root of pi, beat the puzzle.
I know.
I tried to keep my mind focused on the line. Hopscotch and pop rocks, I take shots of teardrops.
I did it to myself.
When I drop a pill pop,
I know.
I find peace and time stops.
I know.
Man, this man was like going through some shit when he wrote this, I think.
It definitely kind of seems that way.
Everybody tries to deal with their issues in their own way. Wherever he was at in this place when he wrote this song, it got better, right? Like, he's better now. I mean, we know his health takes ups and downs, but things get better as time go, as long as you're trying to move forward, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Gotta keep moving on.
Just keep fighting. We'll go back, we'll listen to it all the way through, and then we'll let you guys know a few things and let you know what we think.
Lately, I think I was over time in my chest, beating slower like the clouds, the color of them fading out, fading out. The heavy heart I carried went over your head and over mine.
I counted the days she left like a prisoner, etching markings on my skin with an old knife, scratching. You see, I wanted the physical to match the psychological, and yet no matter how hard I dug, I still could not match that pain. I longed for reasons, I sung with demons, I sat in a dark, dusty room, barely moving, breathing. I chewed through my own umbilical cord attached to her navel. I wanted to be separate. I think my mind is leaking. Solitude is so depleting.
I did it to myself. I know that you are faithful. I did it for my health. How come I'm still unstable? I'm falling far from hell. The suicidal angel has lost my wings and fell. Falling so ungraceful, vanished into hell.
I wish that I could stop crying. They say that the body is 70% water. I feel like I must have reduced mine by a considerable fraction. Newton's third theory states that for every action there must be an equal and opposite counter-reaction. And so I retrace my steps and try to find reasons in the arms of my demons, cause I can't find healing if I can't find meaning. A conundrum, leaning on my dom nom, feelings how the news high, beaming when I hung from ceilings when I run from demons that are living in my head and escape. Fate and disapparate, evaporate, evacuate and inactivate fate. But it cut the brakes, now I'm driving my universe into a lake and away. Weight of the world, don't wait, we make mistakes when it's all a state. For goodness sake, a double take, but I don't want to eat that cake. I ruminate inside meaning, to illuminate a dark mind. I communicate without speaking, and I've seen so much I went blind-eyed. Why? I live in a lie with the lion inside, living a lie with the lion inside. And my mind it's hungry for my sanity, I live in a lie with the lion inside, living a lie with the lion inside. And my mind is hungry and I don't know why. Pressure drop, deep breath, time stops, a broken, etc. ... Pressure drop, pressure drop, pressure drop. I feel it consuming, I can't stop. ... The lines join the dots and I'm tying knots. Then divide and multiply, square the root of pi, beat the puzzle. I try to keep my mind focused on the line. Hopscotch and pop rocks, I take shots of teardrops. When I drop a pill pop, I find peace and time stops.
So this was there's some stuff I missed initially in the video the first time through that I could more appreciate watching all the way through. And like, I know that Ren produced the beat. Like, there's a lot of levels to the music itself. When it drops in with that beat and that guitar, it just starts like singing in my head a little bit. I really enjoyed it when it did that, but I feel like this is something I would see at a art show or something like that, with some interpretive dance going on with it. A lot of the scenes were very visually representative of what was happening in the lyrics. Like when the guy's staring at the mirror, but it's still the back of him, changes into the rose that's wilting. From an artistic perspective, this was an incredible piece that someone like, I think our friend Susan would
That's where I was going to go with it.
Appreciate a lot. If I sent this to her and she sat down and watched it, I think this song would mean a lot to her. I feel like there's a lot of people that this song means a lot to, so I'm not trying to like brush past it since it's not quite something I would listen to on the regular. There is a lot of deep artistic nature within the song and the video itself today.
Yeah, I was totally going to bring up Susan too, but
We got a friend who makes anywhere from little metal roses to giant multi-piece metal sculptures. She's incredibly talented with a welder.
And my company that I work for does some metal work for her, so I'm also familiar with this friend of yours. Yes, yeah.
nice.
I've done some pretty cool pieces for her to utilize in her art.
Maybe I'll put a few pieces on screen right now and people can see the type of work that she does. That was Ren Penitence featuring Molly McKenna. And before we get into the review, I don't have much to say to the Renegades today. Most of the stuff I was going to say, I'm going to wait. Maybe we'll talk about it on our stream Sunday. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. Shades and I did watch Attack the Block this week. I think we both enjoyed it.
It was good. I'll save it for the stream, but it was good.
So if you want to hear what we have to say about Attack the Block, show up on Sunday. We actually just turned 5. Our channel anniversary was yesterday on Thursday.
Oh, we're just
So we are
little
5
guys.
years old. And we're doing a celebratory stream on Sunday with our buddies, Dustin and Mikey. So information will be on the screen now. And you could be able to see it. It should already be set up for you to see that it's coming on Sunday. And you can go turn your notifications on so you don't miss it and you can hang out with us. not only are we to 5 years, we passed the population of our hometown this week too in subscribers. So thank you guys. We appreciate every single one of you. Everything else I was gonna say, it can wait. It can wait. I guess it's time to rip the Band-Aid off and see what the boys think. And I'm gonna go last. So who wants to start us out?
That's not fair. So that was definitely interesting. I don't want to say certain words because they're always said, but it was interesting.
Meaning it was different than what we normally get from Ren?
No, that's not at all what I was going to say. It started to pick up towards the end, the first time we listened to it, rewatching it with no pauses, actually hearing it and then seeing more of the video. Pretty dope shit. Beginning, definitely not my cup of tea, but that's the artistic style, I suppose, right? Guess with that being said, what if I told you that I have a secret?
What's your secret, Shades?
The secret is you got to figure out how to do this on video because there's a little hidden thing behind here. Can you see that?
Oh, I can see it.
Okay.
I couldn't tell until you pulled him down, but I was wondering if you were bluffing.
Well, no, like, I guess I'm half bluffing. Like, it's at the fire level, but I don't know how to call it a fire. Like, it's dope shit. All right, fine, fuck it. It's fire. It's fire. I'll just pull the Band-Aid off. It was dope shit. That second time through definitely helped it out. It was just odd and in its own little world in the beginning there the first time. I don't know who I'm gonna tell to listen to this. I might just have to like shove it in their ear, but we'll go with fire. I'll give it that.
All right, now the one that I'm most worried about today, Professor.
I will preface this by saying this type of performance piece, this type of song art, it doesn't lend itself well to the format that we've created, right? This thing,
Right.
it's got some really strong points. Started off pretty slow. Molly McKenna, while a great vocalist, her style of performing, nothing I've ever really gravitated towards. I've heard other people, like I said, use that soft tone. It doesn't appeal to me specifically. Now, as a poetry piece, this thing's phenomenal. As a piece of performance art, like you guys were saying, you know, this, you could see this on display somewhere and it would garner a ton of positive attention, as it should. It's lyrically amazing. I mean, it's well written. The hardest part for me is the way it picked up at the end. I was feeling it. I got hooked, but it was just not enough. I'm just gonna put it out there. For me personally, with no disrespect to the artists involved, it's a mid song. You know, this thing exceeds expectations in other arenas, but as a song for me, it didn't do what I needed it to do. So as a song, it's just mid, and people might drag me. I don't know what people think about this song. We haven't heard a lot of people talk about this one. You know, we did have the request for it, so obviously, like you guys had mentioned, there's a lot of people that something like this is going to mean a lot to. It just doesn't have that personal connection for me that would put it over the top. While it's a solid piece of art, it's a mid song.
This is why I saved myself for last, because I was gonna say that it's fire, and I don't know. Like we've said, it's a hard one to put into the box that we have created for ourselves, right? Our format with Failure Fire. Most music is going 99% or more of music is gonna fit into Failure Fire. This is that 1% or less of music that feels weird to try to put into some sort of category like this. I don't know, man. It's just not. It's a very deep meaning, performative, artistic piece. Like we said, it's gonna mean a lot to certain people. So it's like you don't want to offend people that are like, this song means so much to me. But as we said, not everything is gonna be resonant with us. We're not all gonna, everything that we cover, relate to what's being talked about, right? If you can't relate to something, it's gonna be a little difficult to grasp things and be into certain things that you have to be in order to really enjoy. You can appreciate the musicianship behind all of it, the artistry behind it, but at the same time, it's like that just doesn't vibe with me, and that's fine. I don't know. I was enjoying it, and then when he came in there at the end, it really put it over the top for me. Even without that, I probably would have given it a fire, but still giving you this long-winded speech here, because I am very much into the art world. There is a lot of stuff that we've went to in the past at different places, and I think this would play well in that area. So that's what we've got. That's what we've got on here today. So, you know, every once in a while, you're not always going to get a triple fire from us, even with Ren. There's a few if you go back and hunt, or you've been a long time listener. We've got a playlist that's got every single Ren song. You can go check out all the stuff we've covered. We've covered a lot of cool stuff. And, you know, I'll still say this is something pretty cool that, you know, I'm glad we covered it, but I'm ready to have some fun again next week. So, and next week is going to be illest of our time, drum and bass. So Thundy might get run out of town with pitchforks and fire, but Dylan's going to be in heaven next week. So we're going to flip the script a little bit probably next week, and Dylan's going to be cussing me out. So we'll see how it goes, though. We'll see how it goes.
I'm excited for that one.
But I'm ready for Vincent's Tale, boys. I have been hyped ever since it got teased, and I'm ready to hear it. So let us know in the comments whether you thought this was a fail fire or just plain mid. Like and subscribe if you had a good time today, because we are Cyber School Media. This was Fail or Fire, and we will see all of you peoples on Sunday. It's going to be a good day. We'll see you then. Shout out to everybody who's bought some merch and has been sending us pictures. Y'all look great, and we appreciate all of you. See you Sunday, baby. Have a good one.
Later.
I'm focused on the line. Pop scotch and pop rocks. I take shots of teardrops. When I drop a pill pop, I find peace and time stops.